What's the smartest way you tested which family members actually loved you? I staged my own medical emergency to see who would show up when I needed help, right before revealing I'd inherited my grandfather's entire estate worth $12 million. Growing up, I was the invisible middle child. My older sister Rachel was the golden child with her law degree. My younger brother Tommy was the baby everyone coddled. I was just Sarah, the nurse who worked night shifts and never complained. The truth started revealing itself at my cousin's wedding. When the photographer gathered family for group photos, my aunt literally said, "Just immediate family for this one," and gestured for me to step aside. I'd been standing next to my own mother. That night I overheard my sister telling her husband, "Sarah's sweet, but she's never going to amount to much. Thank God she found nursing." What they didn't know was that my grandfather had been secretly visiting me during my night shifts. We'd play cards in the hospital cafeteria at 3 a.m., and he'd tell me stories about building his manufacturing empire from nothing. "You're the only one who visits because you want to, not because you need something," he'd say. When Grandpa passed, the family descended like vultures for the will reading. Everyone assumed his fortune would go to my successful siblings or his own children. They didn't even tell me the correct time. I showed up an hour late to find them already dividing assets in their minds. The lawyer's announcement hit them like a freight train. The entire estate, valued at approximately $12 million, is left to Sarah Elizabeth Morrison. The room exploded. My mother actually gasped. There must be a mistake. But I wanted to know who really cared about me before the money became public knowledge. So I asked the lawyer to delay filing the paperwork for 30 days. Then I crafted my test. 2 weeks later, I called in sick to work and sent a group text. "I'm in the ER. They found something during a routine scan. Running more tests. Really scared right now." My phone went silent for 2 hours. Then the responses trickled in. Rachel texted, "Hope everything's okay. Keep us posted." She was at a wine tasting 20 minutes away. Tommy sent a thumbs up emoji. My parents said they'd pray for me but couldn't leave their dinner party. The only person who showed up was my aunt's daughter Emma, the quiet cousin everyone forgot about. She sat with me for 6 hours, held my hand, brought me terrible hospital coffee. "I know we don't talk much," she said, "but nobody should be alone when they're scared." My brother called the next day. "Hey, so weird timing, but could I borrow $5,000? My business needs some quick cash." He hadn't even asked about my diagnosis. 3 days later, I organized a family dinner to share my results. Everyone suddenly had time to attend. I stood up with fake medical papers. "Before I share my health news, I wanted to tell you something else. Grandpa left me everything. $12 million. The room erupted again. This time, my mother rushed to hug me. "Oh, sweetheart, we've always been so proud of you." Rachel suddenly remembered how I'd helped her study for the LSATs. "Tommy mentioned our close bond. Funny how none of you had time when I was in the hospital," I said, pulling out my phone. "But Emma did." "Oh, and about my medical emergency? That was a test, just like Grandpa used to test people. Emma, he left you something too in a separate trust. $1 million for, quote, having a heart that measures wealth in kindness." I moved across the country last month. Emma and I text every day. She's the only family member with my new address. The rest still send me birthday cards to my old apartment, usually asking for investments in their latest schemes. My grandfather's lawyer told me something after everyone left that day. He knew you'd test them. He said you were the only one smart enough to see what really mattered.